Hello, friends, and welcome, greetings, and salutations. My name's Elsewhere, and I hope you're doing good wherever you are in space and time. And we're going to play some Magic. We're going to play some Magic like we do every single day here on this YouTube channel. We're going to play some Historic Brawl. It is the Commander format of Magic Arena. We try to have big, fun, silly Magic here on this channel, so we are looking for big, fun, silly Magic with Historic Brawl. We are playing 5-color Niv Mizzet Reborn. So this is a deck where we're trying to have fun. We're not necessarily going to be doing the most winning, particularly against a control deck. This might not be the best game won. Our opponent is on Teferi, Hero Dominaria. We've got Teferi, Hero Dominaria in our hand, but they're probably going to be countering a lot of our spells. We'll keep this, and that's not going to be great for us. We're looking to play big, fun creature decks. We're looking to play more value decks and hope that we outvalue them. But we are on 5-color fun times, 5-color pile. Just 5-color rare and mythic rare pile. So that should be a fun thing to do. That should be a fun thing to watch. We're going to go ahead and play the Golgari Guildgate first. That way, if we draw an untapped land, we can play Drover the Mighty on 2. Look at her island. Oh, okay, that's not an actual island. I was like, that art's really cool. I've never seen that art. I'm not familiar with that art, but that's why. It's the back half of that. We'll play Triumph and pass turn. But yep, Historic Brawl is the Commander format of Magic Arena, if you're unfamiliar. We're going to have 25 life total instead of 40. That's a big change. Our decks are going to be 100 card singleton. Every card in our deck has to match the color identity of our commander, so they have to have all blue, white, and colorless, and we get to have all 5 colors because we're playing Niv Mizzet Reborn. Niv Mizzet Reborn, ooh, as we're told, they're going to play free spells. That's not great for us. Play Drover of the Mighty. They have a trigger. Do they have active negation? Is that what that means? Or do they just put a stop? I don't know. But yep, our commander, 6/6 flying for 5. When it enters the battlefield, we reveal the top 10 cards of our library. For each color pair, choose a card that's exactly those colors from among them and put those cards into your hand and the rest on the bottom of the library in a random order. So we're going to get to draw a whole bunch of cards every time we cast our commander. So hopefully that's going to outvalue most of our opponents. As I said, might not work with this opponent, as this opponent's going to be casting now lots of free spells, but we're assuming they're just going to have a lot of counter spells, and our deck's not the best against a pile of counter spells. We would like them to play, I guess, something so that we can, if we draw untapped land, we can play our Teferi. But we are going to, we've got some things. Alright, they deck in stone. That was a very good decision by them. Alright, so yeah, that's such a bummer. Had we drawn untapped land, we would have gotten to do the thing. Alright, there's Kalain. Kalain gets us a treasure. So we'll crack this clue at the end of their turn. So we get 2 draws for land number 5, which is very good news. If we get land number 5, we'll probably cast our Teferi. Probably attempt to cast our Teferi. Going to our turn. Crack this clue. Draw a card. And Kalain gets to start attacking. Alright, Arcane Signet. That's pretty good. Temple of Plenty. We'll go ahead and attack with Kalain. We got Historic Brawl. We already mentioned a lot of the commandery aspects. Color identity, 100 card singleton. Omnath, that's interesting. Sure, we'll keep that on top. We have 5 mana. I think we're just going Arcane Signet, right? Arcane Signet gives us 3 mana. Yeah, we'll pass the turn. They gonna do something? Alright, they did nothing. They've got 2 blue mana, so they've certainly got counterspells. We're certainly at the point now they've got 5 mana. So they play their Teferi. Does this hit planeswalkers? Nope, just creatures. Just creatures. Alright, not Teferi. They're going to play Narset. Oh, they played Narset for free. Wow. Ugh, this As Foretold is going to be brutal. Let's go ahead and try to Vanishing Verse Narset. Let's go ahead and see if we can get Narset out of here. It's fine to do this on the Narset since Vanishing Verse can't target the Teferi anyway. But yep, life total is going to be 25 instead of 40. It's going to make aggro decks better, going to make planeswalkers better. No commander damage because of the life total. Only 1v1 instead of pods of 4 or more. So also going to make planeswalkers and aggressive decks better. No commander damage. And another big change is you can use planeswalkers as your commander, as we're seeing from our opponent. They have Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, as their commander, which is not something you can do in traditional commander unless your table allows you to rule zero it. Kind of wish they would change that. Kind of wish they would make planeswalkers be allowed to be commanders. I'm not sure exactly how much that would hurt, but particularly as we said, like, I don't think planeswalkers are that much more powerful in pods of 4 games. All right, resolve. They're going to bounce our thing. I don't really want to use our treasure, but we might. The treasure can hit their Teferi. Yeah, they put Counterspell into their hand. I guess I'm going to go ahead and kill it. Just for the same logic as before, it does prevent them drawing cards. We don't really need that treasure anymore. We're already at our 5 colors. I believe they've already played their free spell. Yeah, Narset was their free spell, and then they played Commit. So this should resolve. I guess maybe they have Spell Pierce? Alright, Pact of Negation. Alright. Well, we'll play Teferi. Got Neutralize. We'll attack Narset for 1. That way, if they want to use it, they have to kill it. They have to pay 5 mana here or lose the game. So, yep, they will pay 5 mana. They can play a spell that costs 4 or less for free, though. So, they do still have a lot of options. We'll play... I don't know. What are we going to play? I guess Omnath? I like to empty our hand before we start Niv Mizzeting, because Niv Mizzet will refill our hand. Alright, they are getting rid of Narset for us. That's nice. With them getting rid of Narset, maybe we'll play Niv to draw a whole bunch of cards. It's a draw card spell. That's not terrible, since I don't think they've played their free spell yet. So just something to draw a card with. Yep, let me go draw a card. I'm gonna Niv. We'll Niv. We're only 1 land away from being able to Niv again if this gets countered, which it looks like it's going to. Oh no, Niv resolves. We get to draw a ton of cards. Which blue or black spell do we want? I guess we want Ashiok. Alright, we're gonna have to discard something here. Attack for 1. Discard board wipe. Alright, now our hand is just full of absurdly powerful spells, right? They get to cast a spell for free for 5, so they can Wrath plus Teferi. They have all sorts of options. All sorts of options for our opponent. Wish they were playing a little bit faster. That's always kind of a bummer. Nothing you can do about it. Nothing. Like, we could scoop. Like I said, this game, you know, they haven't really done anything to, like, win the game super big yet. But it does feel like this whole game has felt a little odd. It was just like, oh, they're playing control. They're going to be playing a lot of control stuff. And, you know, that's bared out. And it's just, you know, we've talked about it before on this channel. Historic Brawl, we try to play big, fun, silly stuff here. If you're looking for big, fun, silly stuff, we've got tons of options for you here on this channel. Just tons of Historic Brawl. We've got our Gideon of the Trials Historic Brawl decks from the last couple of days that we played, where we literally get attacked for 440 million damage one turn. That's not hyperbole, that is, or hyperbole. That is the number of damage we get attacked for. Our opponent casually gains 110 million life. So if you're just interested in seeing, like, how high these numbers go, like, that is a thing that happened. Alright, that was actually really good. I would love to cast this Maelstrom Pulse on their As Foretold. Obviously, we lost 7 cards and we gained 7, so they drew way more cards than us. But that's okay. Okay, well, yeah, let's start trying to get rid of this as we're told. And draw some more cards. What else are we casting this turn? Are we casting anything else this turn? Guess we're keeping Culligan's Command up. Alright, we did successfully destroy as we're told. That's great news. Do I want to keep Culligan's Command up, or do I want to play Skyclave Relic? Skyclave Relic continues the mana ramping. Culligan's Command destroys an artifact, but I don't think we're going to need to destroy an artifact. Yeah, I think we're just going to play Skyclave Relic for 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so 7, 8. We have 8 mana now. We've got 9 mana in hand. Gives us a whole bunch of shenanigans, but they drew a brand new hand, so I'm sure they have just board wipes and count. All right, they didn't. Wow, that was weird. That was a weird game. We'll take it, but wow, yeah, that was weird. Let's hope we play something with more creatures in it this time. When we've played this deck a couple times before, like we get either we tend to lose quickly to some creature decks. Like aggro decks can be really strong against us. Obviously, we have just a ton of lands, or we have a lot of land demands. Our mana base, like we are putting a lot of pressure on our mana base. And that's not always going to work out for us, but it worked out for us this time, so that was good. Against Prismatic Bridge. So this is 2 really powerful commanders in a row that we're seeing, which does surprise me. Like, I agree that this is a really cool card, but this is 5 colors. Like, there's just, in no world do I think this 5-color commander is more powerful than this 5-color commander. So I think it's really weird that we are getting paired into such powerful commanders. Now, Historic Brawl does have a matchmaking algorithm, so it does try to pair, similarly powered commanders together. I just wouldn't think. All right, so we have to play green this turn. I guess we don't have to play green, but I would prefer to play Paradise Druid over Ornithopter Paradise, because Paradise Druid has hexproof. Color did they pick? Black. Is this also black? Okay, that was interesting. Yeah, I think we're going to play this, make them sacrifice an artifact. Sounds good to me. Sacrifices an artifact. That will be you. Play this. Oh. Alright, that must have... They must have needed that mana. They must have needed that mana. That's surprising to me, because again, that deck also feels... That commander feels much more powerful than our commander. We've played Prismatic Bridge in our... we were playing Prismatic Bridge as our commander in our 5-color Super Friends Historic Brawl deck. Another really fun video if you're looking for fun stuff. Our 5-color Super Friends in Historic Brawl, we do all sorts of silly things. We do all sorts of fun things. Just planeswalkers left and right. Emblems left and right. We do lots of fun, silly stuff on this channel. So if you're looking for that, if you enjoy fun, silly stuff, please like, comment, and subscribe. Little baby YouTuber, 7.5, 8 weeks into my YouTube journey. So every like, comment, and subscription helps immensely with the algorithm. You'll keep this. They're on Nissa. Alright, they might have a lot of creatures. That would be good. I want to make sure I can play this Saheeli. So this on turn 1, interest tapped. This on turn 2, interest tapped if we don't draw anything else. Alright, we didn't draw anything else, so this on turn 2, interest tapped. They didn't play anything. That's great news for us. The biggest problem here is that if they play something like huge here, like a Steel Leaf Champion, or that. So yep, that's too big. So now if we played Saheeli, Saheeli just dies. So We're not just playing Saheeli. This land, pass the turn. Next turn, it would be great if they played another odd-costing creature. Looks like they're not going to give us our wish, so we will Extinction Event on odd. Play another odd creature. Odd creature. Odd. Sweet. This one, it dies when it gets exiled. Wow, okay. So we'll play this on red. Extinction Event odd. Get out of here. Does deal damage to only to creatures. But, yep, if they Nissa and if they turn one of their things into a creature, we get to kill it. We get to enter the God Eternals it, which is very strong. I guess we have to draw a land for that, don't we? We need untapped land. Oh, no, we didn't get untapped land. Because we didn't get untapped land, it's Wrath of God time. Take out their land and their mana ramp. Obviously, they still have 8 mana. Yeah, we'll leave land on top. That's fine. Oh, so they have 10 mana because they can do this. Yep. Are they just going to slam Ulamog? Alright, they're slamming that. Now they have infinite mana for the rest of the game. And there's not much we can do about that. Well, I guess we're still playing Enter the God Eternals and killing the forest. I wish we had more. Lotus Cobra. So at least they're running out of gas, it looks like. Oh, we don't have the mana for Enter the God Eternals. Oh, wow. Do we lose? We can't Enter the God Eternals. I guess we can Ashiok start making blockers? Yeah, I guess that's where we're at. Ashiok, make blocker. Wandering Mind, Edgar, Niv. We already played our 2 Wrath spells, so greedy to ask for more Wraths. I mean, we talked about this, that, like, ooh, wow, draw cards. Yep. That's probably the end of the game, right? They get to draw. They have just a bajillion mana. Evolution Sage, yep. Alright. Things are bad happening this game. Things are bad happening this game. But yep, we are about to get just completely run over. Return of the Wild Speaker. Great card for our opponent. Great play for our opponent. And this just shows, you know, their resiliency. Their resiliency against board wipes. Some of these mono Planeswalker colors, like, very powerful. Yeah, giant thing. Just another... I mean, they have played just a ton of creatures now. If we do hit another board wipe, we'd be in a great place. Are we able to live this turn? Looks like we're going to go to 9. 9, you know, not dead, but it's not good. Or they're all just going to attack the Planeswalker. Yep, nothing we can do about that. No blocks. So now, I guess it has to be board wipe. Yep, not a board wipe. Not a board wipe, so they attack with everything and we're dead. Yep. Alright, well that was a bummer. Like, we definitely, particularly as we were like, oh man, the Extinction Event lined up really well. The next turn we had the board wipe. Things wouldn't have gone differently had we had the correct mana for Enter the God Eternals. Had we gotten to Enter the God Eternals, they still would have gotten to cast Return of the Wild Speaker and draw, you know, 5 cards and just cast everything like they did. So the fact that we didn't get to cast that didn't have an outcome on the game, didn't change the outcome. They still just, like, I don't even know if they had a really good hand or if that was just an average hand for them. Nissa, who shakes the world, very powerful Planeswalker. I think we started to say that. I'm really surprised that Niv Mizzet Reborn gets you paired into Tier 1 commanders. I'm not convinced that this is a Tier 1 commander deck, that this is a Tier 1 commander. But yeah, we certainly seem to be getting paired into all the things that I consider Tier 1. So, always a thing to look out for. We'll keep this. Thing to look out for. So yeah, we'll play this one. If you're playing Historic Brawl, if you're thinking you might want to give this deck a try, just to remember that if you do play this deck, you will run into a lot of very powerful spells. All right, putting that on the bottom. We're just looking for more land right now. We've got a growth spiral. We've got a gift of paradise. All right, we didn't draw land, so again, just looking for land. We're gonna cast this growth spiral. We'll do it now because they're on counter spells potentially, and we didn't draw it. That's so rough. That's so unfortunate. Had we drawn the land, I feel like we would have had a much bigger chance of being in this game. Missing that land is probably huge. We can play Gift of Paradise this turn. We really need to draw land. We really need to draw some running lands now, which isn't too much to ask. That we've scryed. We kept 3 land in our opener. We have all 3 from our opening hand still. We've scryed 2 very powerful cards to the bottom. Ooh, they take our mana fixing. They take our mana ramp because we have no lands. We don't draw land, and we're just going to scoop it up. We've talked about this before. Historic Brawl, it's where, you know, you do fun stuff. There's no ladder here. This isn't competitive. Like, once the game is over there, like, maybe we could have kept playing that game for 10 more minutes, but us missing land when we have all these expensive spells and our opponent not missing land, that game had ended. That game had ended. We could have played for 10 more minutes, but the game was over, so let's move on and play another game. Let's see if we can't find someone. Let's see if we can... It's not even like that was potentially a controlling matchup. Like, that's fine. Like, as we've seen, when we're playing in Tier 1, you're going to play against a lot of controlling matchups. That's just how it's going to go. Alright, this one's interesting. Kinnan. Kinnan's another one that I guess it's Tier 1. Like, we see it in Tier 1. Alright, they didn't want to mess with our deck. Which is kind of fair. Kinnan is a combo deck that really relies on, you know, getting Kinnan down and everything else. And we've played against Kinnan in several of the videos here before. The name of the game when you're playing against Kinnan is you have to destroy the Kinnan. You just have to keep their commander off the battlefield. So they wanted to play against something that isn't going to have a lot of removal spells in it. And we do have a lot of removal spells in our deck. Ashiok, the Nightmare Muse. Have we played against anything that doesn't have blue? That doesn't have blue in it? That isn't just going to be full of counter spells? We're going to keep this and hope. These 2 board wipes might be real pointless. But we have 3 lands. So we really only need to draw like 1 more land for us to go off. Alright, we did. We drew it. That's good news. Play this. We're going to play this on red so we can place a Healy on 3. That's something. That's interesting. Ooh, the Pixel lands. Pixel Snow-Covered Forest. And we get to cast the Healy without fear. We'd like to keep drawing lands. That is something we would like to do. So her minus is basically no text. That's... Oh, and they didn't... Wow, actually, huge bummer for us, right? Huge bummer that they didn't play something. Alright, we're really hoping for land here. We are really hoping for land number 5 off the top of our deck. Because then we can start casting things. We'll cast Scarab God. So red, white, black, blue. We need a blue or green land to cast Niv. We would like a land off the top of our deck. We would like them to play something that we can kill with this Binding of the Old Gods. Alright. They're just on control, it looks like. They just have a handful of control spells, and we're not going to draw land. Yep, they're just on a handful of control spells. We're not drawing land. That stinks. This is another game that just, man, we really needed land 5. We really needed just to keep going. We would like them to play something so that we can play some of our spells. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 4 lands in the top 13. That's just so unlucky. That's such a bummer. We're playing 41 lands in the deck. We're playing 41 lands, so we are playing a lot to keep going. Dark Ritual, what is this going to be? Some huge spell. Thought Distortion. Yep, makes us discard our entire hand, except for Scarab God. We can probably scoop to that, right? Yeah, and we're still not drawing anything else. We'll scoop. That was very unfortunate, and just, man, I kind of hate being in the tier 1 commander decks. This is one of the things that we've learned from, we played Garruk, and I thought Garruk Huntsman was good, or Cursed Huntsman. Like, this seems like it's going to be an awesome commander. That seems like that deck is going to be awesome to play against, and just great. And apparently the game agrees, because it considers it a tier 1 commander. So it pairs you against just all these tier 1 commander decks. And that was just a bummer. And I do see, like, we built it as more of this value fun deck, but after we did Emblem, like, once or twice, I was like, oh, wow, you can really just build this deck around getting this Emblem, like, as fast as possible against Uro. And just like we said, every deck we've played against, I think, has had blue, right? We've played Kinnan, we've played Teferi, we've played Ashiok, we've played Uro now, we played 3-color Nicole Bolas. Did we play a mirror match? Was that today? I'm going to keep this hand, and we'll hope we draw land. We'll hope we just keep drawing land. Alright, we drew land 4. That's really good news. We drew land 4. We'll have it come in as a forest. Alright, we're drawing mana ramp as well. And we'll get to land 3. We'll have D-Spark up. We'll have Kulligan's Command up. We'll have the Devil up. I guess we'll probably put Gift of Paradise on the forest. So, yeah, that makes sense to me. That makes sense. So, looks like we're doing okay this game in land. We're just going to need to draw threats. Alright, there's a threat. Put Gift of Paradise on this forest. But there again, just playing blue, so they're just going to have a pile of counter spells, just like every other matchup in Tier 1. Just such a bummer. Tier 1 is kind of a bummer. I wish it would, like, tell you when you're building your commander, like, hey, just letting you know, this is a Tier 1 commander. I mean, I get why they don't, because that would probably dissuade a lot of people from playing those decks. Like I said, for me, it's like, that's our takeaway. Our big takeaway of the day is, oh, this deck, when I built this, I was like, oh, this is going to be so fun. Niv Mizzet Reborn, 5-color commander. I love it. Let's go. But then it was just like, oh, you just run up against all Tier 1 strategies. You just run up against nothing but counter spells. Land and counter spell number 1. We kind of got to be casting our spells, so I guess that is what it is, but it is a bummer to be sure. Alright, they let it resolve. Wonder what that means. Wonder if that means board wipe. There's a blue, like, return all Kraken creatures or something. Uro. Uro's interesting. I actually have no idea how... I mean, I guess Uro's powerful as a commander because it puts it into Tier 1 matchups, right? It's so weird to play against Tier 1 because you play against things you just don't usually play against at all. But yeah, Uro, very interesting card. Did it go to their graveyard or did it go to there? Is there a way? I guess we can click over here. Alright, so Uro went to their graveyard. Ooh, that's fun. It'd be funner if we had more land. Looks like we need to put more land into this deck. Alright, we hit them for a whole bunch. Do we play? I think I'm just going to play Caryatid. Caryatid, hold up some removal spells. They don't currently have enough to Uro, right? I guess they can play a spell here. Yep, there's a Lonely Sandbar. Resolve. The fact that these new perpetual cards, some of them, you know, it's not just draw a card, because draw a card can be nothing. Draw a card can just be land 8, 9, 10 when you already have too many lands. But that is a very powerful draw card. Alright, they gain life from Uro. We're going to kill Uro, but they are going to have a very full graveyard. Oh, is Uro a giant? Yeah, Uro's a giant, so they get to cast this thing again. And they get to untap, so we've got removal spells. We'll try to kill Uro, but they're just going to counter them with their 1,000 cards in hand. Yeah, they've drawn almost 20 more cards than us. And it's just, you know, it's just hard to win a game of Magic when your opponent has drawn 20 more cards than you. Oh, and they're returning our biggest thing to our hand. That's not terrible for us. Arcane Signet, that's not bad. And yep, you can see they are getting it stopped, so they do... It does appear that they have some sort of counter spell. We will try to Bedevil. We will try to kill the Uro. And if Uro lives, we're probably just going to scoop it up here. We no longer have good attacks. They have 1,000 cards in hand. They're just going to keep drawing cards and things. Yeah, they're tapping some mana, so I assume they're doing something here. Yeah, this is a bummer. We didn't play against any aggro decks. We didn't play against any... I guess we played against Nissa. Oh, we did. We played against one deck that didn't have blue in it. We played against mono green Nissa, and it just ran us over. Yeah, we want to play more mid-rangey decks, and the mid-rangey decks don't appear to be tier 1. X equals 2. Resolve. Why didn't we get to pay 2? Oh, did they make X equal 3? We still have 3 mana. Oh, twice X. Alright, twice X. Well, yeah. We'll concede to that now. They've got 1,000 cards in hand. We can't attack any longer. They can activate Uro every turn if they so choose. We don't really have super catch-up mechanic to that. Our catch-up mechanics are all casting spells, and we can only cast 1 or 2 spells per turn. And we can try to cast our Niv to draw a whole bunch of cards to refill our hand, but it just doesn't matter against these decks. Just too many decks just packed full of counter spells. That's the main reason I don't recommend playing tier 1. This is one of those things where it's like, we built this deck and now I'm going to like have to delete it immediately to make sure I don't accidentally play it again. Because I don't like playing against tier 1 decks. And yeah, here we are. We're just playing against... The problem is, if you're wanting to play against tier 1 decks, you need to be playing a tier 1 deck, right? And my decks are just full of value stuff. My decks are just full of really fun things. They're not necessarily tier 1. Guess I'm going to play the Blooming Marsh. That way we can turn to this Paradise Druid. We can turn... Yeah, we're going to turn to Druid. We're going to play this on red. I'm not sure if we have more red or white cards in our deck. We'll play Druid. Next turn we'll have 4 mana. I guess we'll play Ornithopter of Paradise. No attacks in case of board wipes. Hey, look, they got Paradise Druid. Cleansing Nova. Immediately a little punished for not playing the white. Enters tapped. Paradise Druid. So now we have 5 mana. So we get to cast Scarab God. If we draw 6 mana, we get to cast Garruk the Huntmaster. Garruk the Huntsman. So untapped mana here would be sweet. They're on 5 colors as well, so they do have lots of options here. Curious to see what we're up against. Alright, so they've still got Bant colors. We've got everything but white. Swords to Plowshare, so we're no longer on 6 for untapped. Now we need untapped to play Scarab God. Alright, they're playing Cultivate, so they're fixing their mana base. That's a bummer. Yeah, that Swords to Plowshare, you wouldn't think that that would be, like, particularly powerful here, but particularly against my deck, we've seen where I've had, like, no creatures lots of times. Such a bummer. Such a bummer. We'll put that on the red land. And for some reason, it tapped our Paradise Druid to do that, so now it can get killed. The auto-tapper did not do well by us there. Tapping Paradise Druid, we would have liked to have left Paradise Druid untapped, particularly as we don't have a spell to cast. Why would it tap it like that when we can do nothing with that 2 mana, and we could have attacked with Paradise Druid if we wanted? That was a really weird decision by Auto Tapper. That's kind of on us, though. You can definitely say we should have tapped what we wanted. Elspeth conquers death, so they're hitting our enchantment. They don't have anything really to reanimate, do they? They don't. And we don't get to cast a single spell. Yeah, this has gone really bad. I do not recommend playing in Tier 1. Tier 1 is just so counterspell heavy. It's so control-y heavy. It's so just blue heavy. Just the matchups aren't fun. Yeah. So again, I kind of wish there was something that would tell you, like, you're going to play a Tier 1 deck. Would you like to build a different commander? As I said, with our deck, when we play Historic Brawl... Alright, Command Tower. So 3-5, entering the battlefield. Okay, so that's ETBs. And there's nothing we can do about that. I guess we could board wipe next turn. If we're board wiping next turn, we don't really want to cast these creatures. I guess I'm going to play Niv, right? Play Niv, get a whole bunch of cards into my hand. Yep, get a whole bunch of cards into my hand. You don't get an option of whether to take them or not, so we just have to discard a whole bunch of cards. No attacks. Discard 2 cards. Growth Spiral. Mortify? Hate destroying Mortify. March of the Multitudes? March of the Multitudes probably shouldn't be in my deck. It has not been good any of these days that we've played this deck. Right, we've got a handful of stuff. We can destroy a couple of creatures next turn, so that's good. We probably should have discarded this Culling Ritual instead of March, right? Culling Rituals looks like it's going to be doing all of exactly nothing this game. I mean, maybe there's a corner case where they play like Scoop Mob and we get to put a whole bunch of things on it. Alright, yep, they get 2 triggers off of Golos. Is there anything... I guess we can play Find Finality? Oh no, -4/-4 doesn't kill their stuff. Wow, I was going to say, it's like, well, we can give -4/-4. If we could have board wiped with Find Finality, that would have been probably our best option. I guess we're going to Garruk next turn and hope we just outvalue them? I guess it depends on if they kill Niv here. They've got 2 mana up. They could kill Niv. If they kill Niv, we're probably going to do something else. Last Pool Mimic. Another Golos. Is this one of the ones that, like, it's not... Okay, so no, they do have to sacrifice it, but they get triggers, right? Yeah, they get Golos triggers off of the sacrifice. So they're mana ramping. They are the mana ramping. And I just don't even know at this point, like, is it worth killing Yarok? It's already done all this work. So it's probably Garruk time, right? I mean, I guess we have to kill Golos, right? Otherwise they just start getting all those free cost. So yeah, I guess we need to kill Golos and Yarok. Which, you know, we do have a ton of spells in hand. And they can just cast Golos again. So that's a bummer. Oh no, he costs 7. I mean, yeah, they can still just cast him again. This thing has Death Touch, so no blocks. Land. Justice Strike. That'll kill Yarok because it has Death Touch. Mortify. Kill Golos. For some reason it tapped... I mean, maybe it had to. Maybe it had to tap Paradise Druid. We don't have creatures in our graveyard, so we don't want to do that. I guess we can Garruk kill Golos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And they still have enough, right? Does this tap for any mana? Yeah, it taps for any mana. So they still have enough to just tap Golos and play one of their spells for free. Ooh, that's not bad. Bajuka Bog? It's not bad. Golos just finds any land, right? For a land card. Yeah, Golos probably too good. We played Thassa. Yeah, Thassa's pretty great. Flickers Golos, so they just continue to ramp. We do have another kill spell for Golos, so that's good news. We don't have a kill spell for this Thassa, so that's less good news. Thassa going to continue to flicker all the time. What do they have in their graveyard? We could make a Yarok with Scarab God. I mean, we don't have infinite land. That's our problem. They have infinite land and we don't. If we play Scarab God, that's our turn. And we have to keep killing Golos every turn to make Golos cost more so they can't just do free stuff. But drawing land is good. So we'll play Garuk. He will destroy target Golos. And we'll attack with everything? No, I guess we'll just attack for 6 in the air again. We would very much like to, for Garuk to stick around, we would very much like to make 2 wolves next turn. Yeah, Garuk can start spitting out wolves. Actually, interesting, Garuk can start spitting out wolves, and then eventually we can Calling Ritual, maybe. Alright, so again, here's Golos. They literally have enough land to cast Golos when he costs 9 mana and use his ability. So they continue to just, you know, get so much value out off of their Golos. We no longer have a kill spell to kill Golos. So this feels like the end, right? This feels like they're just going to continue to do these things. Oh, they're not going to activate Golos. They're just going to... Oh, Golos costs more than 5. Golos costs 7, so maybe they didn't have Golos' ability. Oh, and they still get to kill Garuk because that has... Alright, so that was actually probably a very solid play. Alright, well... Is it Tristani time? Tristani would pump up our creatures. We get to attack for a little bit. Wow, we really should have kept that March of the Multitudes, huh? Should have discarded Calling Ritual instead of March. And then maybe this would be a March turn and we'd be able to overrun them a little bit. But maybe not. Maybe not. Dovin's Veto. Dovin's Veto is interesting. So we attack for 7. End the turn. How does this work? You may play. So they're not even casting the spells, they're just playing them, so they do just get to slam it. So if they try to cast something, we can counter it with Dovin's Veto. But unlikely for us to win here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they can activate Golos twice. So they play this for the cleave costs? Yeah. I'm going to counter this. Because they could go find Ulamog, and that's ends the game. I mean, Ravenous Chupacabra also pretty good here. Is Ravenous Chupacabra enough? I mean, it's going to destroy Niv Mizzet. And now they have... I guess they have enough blockers. We would have to do really, really well. And we're not going to do really, really well. But okay, that was interesting. Oh, can they just cast all of them? I thought it was just cast 1. Oh, you may play them. So yes, you just get to cast all of them. Ugh. So now their board is just, you know, undeniably better than ours. It's probably Cleansing Nova time, particularly now that the other things are off the battlefield. Oh, and they had enough to just do it again. Wow. And all these things cost more than 2, so Calling Ritual has just been utterly terrible this game. So they're going to play those. They're going to take Cleansing Nova so that we don't board wipe, because now their board is much better than ours. And that's going to be the game. Right? I guess we're kind of waiting for them to do it. I guess we can still -4 everything. But -4/-4 just does not kill Golos. So yep, here comes that. Make us discard Cleansing Nova. Scarab God's probably too cutesy in this deck too. We kind of learned that Scarab God just we just haven't had a chance to cast it. We haven't had the opportunity to really cast Scarab God. And they make us discard all of our hand. Yeah, I can't imagine what we possibly draw here that wins the game. Even if we'd kept the March of the Multitudes now, it's like that wouldn't have done anything. Yeah, getting to play 6 cards for free, like, pretty good. Pretty good. But somehow, Golos is the same power level as Niv Mizzet Reborn. Oh, and they get to flicker. Yeah, we're done here. We're done here. Oh my goodness. Tier 1 is awful. That is my takeaway. My takeaway from this is still just like, yeah, don't play Tier 1 decks. Don't play things that queue you into Tier 1. Do not recommend playing Niv Mizzet Reborn. Not the funnest of times, not the best of times, which is just such a bummer. You know, I love Tier 2 Historic Brawl. You know, it's one of the things where this is what people talk about when they talk about, like, going to your table and having the, you know, power level conversation of your decks with your opponents in Commander. Like, do we all want to play mid-level? Do we all want to play, you know, some people have, like, a 1 through 10 scale. You know, are you playing a super competitive deck? Are you playing a 6 or a 7? Are you playing an 8 or a 9? And this is kind of why. Obviously, in 1v1 it's different, because counterspells are also going to be much more powerful in 1v1 than in pods of 4. Look at how terrible this hand is against Niv Mizzet. Alright, this hand's much better. We'll keep this. Is this hand much better? We just have Abzan colors? I mean, we have to play Paradise Druid. So as long as Paradise Druid and Gift of Paradise live, this hand's fine. But yeah, it certainly doesn't look the best at first. But yeah, we'll play this. Find Finality. Put that on bottom. Don't need board wipes against Control. We played against one deck that didn't have blue in it. One deck that did not have blue in it, which is just absurd, right? So next turn we'll make sure that we tap our things how we want to tap them. So we'll play this on white. Tap this for green. Play Gift of Paradise. And that keeps us, that keeps Dovin's veto up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we draw untapped land, we get to Garruk next turn. That would be pretty good. Why didn't we get to Dovin's veto that? Oh, 2 mana of any one color. 2 mana of any one color. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. And we didn't draw what we needed to draw, so we have to play this. We get a treasure. We pass the turn. Didn't draw untapped land. How many games have we lost because we didn't draw land 4? This has been brutal. Ugh. Had we drawn land 4 there, we would have gotten to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, if we had drawn land 4, we would have gotten to cast Garruk. And it's not too hard to believe that this Garruk on turn 4 would have just carried us through the game. Would have been too much for them to answer. We need mana, so yeah, we're going to counter this. We're going to try to counter this. I mean, I guess we're going to succeed in countering it. Particularly as we didn't play land. Vanishing Verse, yep, just hitting our lands because we don't have mana. So again, if we draw untapped, do we still get to Garruk? Are we on Garruk for an untapped? 1, 2, yes we are. So Slam, pay 2 life, Garruk, auto pay, make wolves. Now they could definitely have board wipe here. If they board wipe, we get to ultimate Garruk, which not as good without the wolves, but still very powerful. They have freaking Golos. Alright, so with Golos in play, I think that's a time... I think this has become a time wipe turn, right? Land, or... Yeah, this just deals. So... Attack with everything. Or we could just kill Golos. Is that what we do? Yeah, let's do that. Let's kill Golos and attack with everything. Play Outlaws Merriment. Heck yeah. So again, like, it feels like they're going to need to board wipe here, right? Like, they need to board wipe eventually. Alright, there's Niv. They get to recover their hand. I guess we'll gander. So yeah, they've got whatever this is. Thief of Sanity. Thief of Sanity is a annoying spell. 1 damage to any target, 1 damage to them. Drew a land. We'll play land. We could time wipe here. Yeah, the big thing is we can't leave, right? Garruk dies if we don't do something. So I think we're going to attack with everything. I guess that's a lie. We're going to attack with everything except Chillane. Just get a little bit of damage in. Nothing major here. Time warp. Time wipe. I'll return Kalane to my hand. We'll destroy everything else. Garruk's gonna get some counters on him. Make some more wolves. Pass the turn. Next turn we can play Kalane and Niv Mizzet, I think. Binding of the Old Gods to get rid of Garruk. That makes complete sense. As we said, this Garruk was going to take over this game if they didn't do something about it. We don't have red mana, so we literally cannot cast a single spell in our hand. Wow. Well, if we'd realized we didn't have red mana, we probably would have done something differently. That's brutal. Yeah, we have every color except red. So, yeah, they win because we don't have red mana. Yeah, I cannot recommend playing this deck. This deck was... the problem is we knew this deck was going to be bad going into it. We were very much like, oh, this deck's going to be fun. It's just going to be fun, silly times. But if you're trying to win games of Magic, if you're trying to get your daily wins, I mean, this deck was just bad. This deck, and it wouldn't have been if it just got paired against Tier 2 decks. I don't know why the algorithm, I think that's a real misfire on the algorithm to put this into Tier 1. But that's going to do it for me today. I hope you're doing good wherever you are out there in space and time. I hope things are going well for you. I hope you're having a great holiday season, and I will catch you next time. Bye.